Nature doesn't do things in ones and twos. She's not mean. There are millions of planets, millions of stars and millions of galaxies, and very likely up there, millions of other different kinds of intelligent creature. If you think of the pygmies in an African forest, they're quite unaware of all the radio messages that are being swapped from one place on the Earth to another. And I think we ourselves, in a larger scale context, are unaware of all the messages that are being sent even within our own galaxy. This is my suspicion, and I think our big problem in the future is to get ourselves into that galactic telephone directory.
Is man unique? Is he alone in the universe? Is he the Lord of creation fashioned by God in his own image and likeness? Or is the universe populated by countless millions of creatures incredibly more intelligent than man? Tonight, in our search for an answer to these questions, we look beyond our planet Earth, beyond our immediate neighbor, the Moon, beyond our entire solar system, to the further points of our galaxy, and on beyond the billions of trillions of other stars that abound in the infinity of space. Since the dawn of history, man has looked up at the night sky and wondered if intelligent life might exist on other worlds besides his own. This is not a science fiction program, but one in which scientists speculate and state their case seriously. Last April, the Russians announced that later this year, they'll start searching for radio messages from intelligent civilizations in outer space. A leading American astronomer who's played a major role in studying the possibility of intelligent life existing elsewhere in the universe is Dr. Carl Sagan. Dr. Sagan is a staff member of the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory and assistant professor of astronomy at Harvard University.
I and a few of my colleagues have spent a fair amount of time trying to find some evidence for intelligent life on Earth. By and large, we've been unsuccessful. Let me explain. Here are some photographs of the planet Earth taken by the American meteorological satellite ATS-1. The white stuff is clouds. The dark stuff is the surface of the Earth, in this case the Pacific Ocean. And as you see, there's no sign of life. Now, here is a photograph of the British Isles, and you can see this is a fairly rare photograph, rare because the British Isles are largely cloud-free. Now, prolonged scrutiny of this photograph reveals no sign of life. This is a photograph taken at 1 kilometer resolution. That is to say that things smaller than a kilometer would not possibly show up in this picture. Here's a photograph at the same resolution of France. Somewhere in this picture, I've forgotten just where, is Paris. Paris doesn't show up because there's nothing about Paris that calls it to our attention. You can't see Paris at this sort of resolution. Well, we've looked at several thousands of photographs with this sort of resolution, and we've come to the conclusion that at kilometer resolution, there's no sign of life on Earth, intelligent or otherwise. To get a good sign of intelligent life on Earth, we have to get pictures of improved resolution. Now, here's a rare photograph of the Earth at a resolution of about 1/10 of a kilometer. It's the only one of several thousands which shows with any reasonable degree of certainty, intelligent life on the Earth. I call your attention to this remarkable array of quite straight and parallel, and here we have at right angles to them crossing straight lines. Now, what can this possibly be? I think even if you don't have an immediate feeling as to what it is, it's clearly biological and not geological, and you'd be right. This is a photograph taken near Cochrane, Ontario, in Canada. This is lumber country. The loggers have cut parallel swaths through the forest, and then the snow fell, heightening the contrast. But this is an exceedingly rare photograph, and to get really good signs of life on Earth, we would have to improve the resolution by another factor of 10 or 100. So, despite all our feelings that man has profoundly remade the surface of the Earth, we see that at least at this kind of resolution, the Earth is essentially the same as it was hundreds of millions of years ago before man or his ancestors ever evolved.
Clearly, we must use a different approach to the question of intelligent life elsewhere in the universe. We agree, I think, that there is intelligent life on Earth. But is our planet unique for the origin and evolution of such life? That would depend in part on whether life is a miracle or a mere statistic.